Welcome to A Moment of Zen. Time to sit back and relax as model, actress, mentor, and supermom Zen Sams takes you on a sexy and wild ride, covering the latest in film, fashion, pop culture, cryptocurrency, fintech, cannabis, and entertainment from the millennial mom's perspective. Here's your host, Zen Sams.
Happy Saturday evening, beautiful tri-state area. Welcome to our 189th episode. What a milestone. It's always such a pleasure to spend my time with you on the airwaves. Thank you for listening and interacting with me on social media. That truly does make it all worthwhile. Please make sure to continue to follow me at Zen Sams. That's Zen with an X, not a Z, Xensams. And remember that all episodes of A Moment of Zen stream 24/7 on your home TV and Kathy Ireland worldwide platform. It's free programming to you. You can always find us also directly on our YouTube channel at Zen Sams. Tonight in the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, we have two incredibly inspiring guests who are here to shed light on a condition many of us may have never heard of, but is considered one of the most painful medical conditions, trigeminal neuralgia, otherwise referred to as the suicide disease. We're going to be joined by Dr. Mark Linskey. He's a renowned neurosurgeon and advocate for facial pain disorders. And Kathleen Klein, trigeminal neuralgia advocate and founder of FaceForward, an organization dedicated to raising awareness for trigeminal neuralgia and other facial pain disorders. In the Polished Beauty segment, we're joined by Dr. Daisy Ayim, triple board certified OBGYN and gynecologist and cosmetic surgeon. She's going to bring a wealth of knowledge from her Polished Beauty podcast tonight, and we're going to cover trends in women's health, cosmetic surgery, and empowerment with a focus on what's resonating most with women today. She's joining us in studio. You definitely want to tune in for this one. In our Phoenix Rising segment, highlighting transformational journeys brought to you by Chicago's Chicken Shack nonprofit, providing food to the homeless. We're joined by regular contributor and podcaster Anna DeVere, and today she's joined by the incredible Lisa Kinzelberg. She's a fine artist based in Chicago. Her work is going to be exhibited by D. Colabella Fine Art Gallery at Scope Art Fair during Art Basel Week in Miami this upcoming December 3rd through the 8th. That's right around the corner. Her mission is to show people the world and reveal something deeper about ourselves. Definitely want to check out this exhibit. In the Hydration with Heart Express segment brought to you by none other than Once Upon a Coconut, we're featuring Brian Kordovich, founder of ACES. From street courts to partnering with icons like Nike and NBA 2K, he's here to chat sports, youth, branding, and building a community. Stay tuned for Brian. He's coming up next. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com. Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcome back to the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut. Today, we're featuring Brian Kordovich. He's a powerhouse in the world of sports and entertainment. He's best known as the founder of ACES, a brand that's rapidly rewriting the script on what it means to connect sports, music, and culture. His journey from Cleveland to playing basketball professionally around the globe and ultimately founding ACES is one of pure grit and relentless vision. From street courts to partnering with icons like Nike and NBA 2K, Brian is more than just a businessman. He's a game changer with a message of ambition and universal connection. Welcoming now to the show is the amazing founder of ACES, Brian. Welcome, superstar.
Thank you, Zen. I appreciate that. I'm going to have you introduce me every time I come out on the platform. Appreciate that.
Yeah, listen, this is exciting to have you on. Now, I'm going to go into some statistics here, but according to recent studies, over 70% of Americans report struggling to find purpose in their daily lives. So with that kind of existential struggle, the concept of hustle and heart speaks to a huge audience in a very profound way. Now, your brand ACES champions this idea of hustle and heart. It's an ethos that's touched millions. How did that philosophy become so central to your story? And what message are you hoping resonates most with people facing adversity?
Sure, I'll have to take a few steps back. I think in life it's all about purpose and finding your inner peace. So with that, you have to chase your passion and dreams. So before brand aces, there was smoking aces, playing professional basketball. I did the best I could, always had big dreams and ambitions of one day playing in the NBA. It wasn't a straightforward path. It was not linear. Got a chance to play professionally in Kuwait, Italy, Israel, France, the Dominican Republic, got drafted in the NBA G League. I had a couple tryouts with the New York Knicks and Brooklyn Nets, but what really set me apart was playing at Rucker Park up in Harlem. That's where the nickname Smoking Aces came about. If you don't have that storybook Division I career, you have to figure it out somewhere, somehow. So what I did was I used the streets of New York City, especially the legendary EBC Rucker Park. And after one summer of not playing, went back there. So from every racial white nickname you could think of to Nick Lachey to 98 Degrees, I dropped 50 points one game and it went to Smoking Aces. And I remember after I asked the guys why on the mic, I'm like, why Smoking Aces? They said the ace is the best card in the deck and you were smoking the brothers. So from that moment, it's legendary to me growing up in Cleveland. I knew what playing at that park meant. So that got me on my tryouts in the league. And then from that, I come back that following summer, get my own team, end up leading the Rucker in scoring. First time a person of this stature has done that. And what came with that was shoe deals from And1, K1X, and kind of storytelling throughout New York City, rooted in the origin of Rucker Park. What happened was the day before Summer League 2016, I go back to defend my scoring title. What happens? I rupture my Achilles. So again, setbacks, right? I saw the impact that my story had in basketball. So I dropped Smoking Aces, turned it into Brand Aces, and started building this brand platform backwards in basketball, sports, and music through events, collaborations, and with athletes and major brands. And
Wow, that's amazing. You have an incredible story. But basketball is one of the most popular sports globally, with a fan base surpassing 2.5 billion. So yet very few players make it from the streets to the professional courts, especially globally. So you've done a great job. And you've taken your game from Cleveland to Kuwait and from street ball to the NBA D League. What were the key moments that made you realize that basketball could be more than just a game and that it could be a lifelong career and even a way to impact communities on a larger scale?
I think a few things, the people you meet through the game, relationships, networking, connections, and just the disciplines that you meet through the game, right? The daily, grind, working out, keeping your body in shape, physically, spiritually, mentally. It transforms into what I'm doing now. So it's a big ecosystem. And I think it's the biggest marketable sport in the world because, people aren't wearing helmets or hats. So it's the most accessible for any, person up in Harlem, in Cleveland, Ohio, in Miami, or North Dakota. So it's a universal game where anybody can go pick up and play a ball. So I think being blessed to be able to play the game and stay rooted in basketball has been that universal connectivity, which is why Aces, is kind of taken off in the space.
Influencer marketing, let's shift a little bit because that seems to be at the heart of a lot of what you're doing. It's especially in sports. So influencer marketing in sports is projected to reach $22.5 billion by 2025, Brian. So it's big business, but authenticity is key, and you seem to capture that with Aces. So you collaborate with iconic athletes and celebrities from PJ Tucker to Justin Bieber. How do you choose partnerships that align with your brand's ethos of hustle and heart? And what's the secret to keeping that authenticity?
Oh, great question. I think the authenticity came from playing basketball. Like I said, the way it was built, it wasn't forced. We didn't pay anybody to ever be a part of our stuff. I think it's number one, people like to play basketball. And number two, I had a lot of personal relationships with the athletes. I started rocking the brand slowly over the years, from PJ Tucker to Justin Bieber to KD to Sue Bird to Asia Wilson. And once they start seeing what that logo, they may not know what the brand was when they saw the logo, but they saw the logo everywhere. And then once they saw the storytelling behind it, I think my background, I may have not made it into the NBA, but I think the impact and the platform that we give these athletes to tell their stories is resonating not only with the athletes, but the culture and the space. And most recently, we tapped into music and created a track with Dave East and Mano. So for us to be able to bridge out and reach all pivotal touch points of culture has been special. And we'll just have to keep this going.
Now, there's an estimated 3.5 million kids playing high school basketball in the U.S., dreaming of going pro, though less than
0.02% make it. Okay, so the odds are stacked. But programs like ACES, Elite Classic, and Hustle Heart, they offer crucial opportunities. And for these young athletes facing staggering odds, how does ACES aim to provide not just a showcase, but also a pathway to something bigger?
It's more than a game. I'm glad you asked that. The ACES Elite Class, which is our McDonald's type All-American game, which is individual All-Stars. And the unique one about that is it's not just seniors like most of these All-American games. It's freshmen to seniors. So a lot of the guys the past few years, like Ian Jackson, Elliot Cadeau, Tahad Pettifor, they were in the game, not even ranked as freshmen. Then they come as sophomores. They're 80th. Juniors, they're 60th. Seniors, they're top 5 in the country. And the cool part about this is when they become McDonald's All-Americans, they come back to ACES because our media reach, our exposure, our streaming deals with Amazon and the NBA app, it just puts these guys in places that they may not have been seen as freshmen. So for them to not only come up this ranks and for ACES to give them a platform, it means a lot, and we'll continue to do so. It's not just about the top guys, it's the underdogs as well. So we reach, we think, all spectrums with not only the ACES League Classic, but most recently, which you guys attended, the Hustle and Heart Classic, which features the top teams in the country on the boys and girls side as well.
You are doing something amazing. Now let's look at some statistics. 70% of people say they would buy from a brand they feel aligns with their values. And ACES has created a brand that resonates deeply with values of ambition, resilience, and connectivity. I know for a fact that your brand is built on storytelling. What narrative are you most committed to sharing through ACES, and how does it reflect your personal journey from basketball courts to boardrooms?
No, great question. I think people buy they're related and they connect the story. So if you can tell that in an authentic way, which we have over the years, everyone's like, why didn't you start with apparel, right? Because I'm answering your statistical question. I'm like, let me build the story, let me build the community, let me build the social equity in the marketplace and online. And once people feel that storytelling up there, they want to touch the physical product. So that's why we built this brand platform backwards. Most brands, start with apparel and then go do other stuff. We were like, no, let's build a community, let's build strong IP. Let's create the strong narrative and stay authentic to what we're doing and align with global brand partners. And from then, I think you can, the consumers will buy anything because they really believe in the founder, what the brand and what the product stands for.
And digital sports is on the rise. I mean, consumption is growing at an annual rate of like 20%, and you have platforms like NBA 2K leading the way. So what does the future hold for the integration of sports culture and digital platforms?
I think keep doing what we're doing, but also accelerate the scale. We're going to raise a round here soon to develop, a stronger, better team as we currently have. I think once you have the brand platform built, it's all about acceleration and scale. So it's being more strategic now, but not resting on what we just did, right? It's like, hey, we just had a national event. What's next? No, you can't rest. You gotta see what's next. So ACES will be doing something big with some strategic partners down in Miami for Art Basel. So to your point, celebrate your wins quietly. But keep the foot on the gas because we know the platform that we've been blessed with, and we want to continue to make an impact because we know the reach and we know the impact that it has on people around us.
Yeah, and I think it goes beyond impact and reach because sports fans feel connected to athletes who share their own personal stories, right, of struggles and success. So I think that's also at the heart of it all because you have that connection with your audience. But your journey from overcoming personal loss and career setbacks, I think, resonates so deeply with the average American. So reflecting on this incredible journey of yours, from a boy in Cleveland dealing with hardships to building a brand that connects with millions, what message would you most like to leave for those listening who may be in their own battle right now?
I'd say go back to the inner child. Go back to that childlike faith that you had when you were in 5th grade. Like, what did you write on that piece of paper? Don't tell me it's not possible. If I could do it from a kid who lost his father day before 5th grade, to having a mom go back to school in her 40s to get her degree, to being on food stamps, don't tell me it can't happen. You be the change. You be the person to stop that generational curse in your family if you think that no one else in your family can do it. Because if I can be an inspiration to one person, be like, hey, if Brian Kordovich could do it, I can do it. You got to be relentless. You got to put in the work. You got to work like it depends on you and pray like it depends on God. I'm not someone to shy away from my faith. It's one of the biggest reasons why I'm here. So, you got to have faith too. And if you don't, it's not going to happen. So let's just keep it real on that one.
Oh, I love everything you said. Well, we are officially at the end of our time. I want to thank you so much for joining us today. I mean, your story of resilience, grit, and the unstoppable drive to turn adversity into opportunity is inspiring. And ACEs, my dear, it's a testament to what can be built with hustle and heart. So for those listening, let Brian's journey be a reminder, no matter where you start, the impact you make is defined by the ambition and authenticity you bring along the way. Brian, thank you so much.
Zen, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Until next time, keep striving, keep dreaming, and stay hydrated with heart. This is Zen Sams on A Moment of Zen, signing off on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. Definitely check out Brian on the gram at Smokin' Aces #1, and you could head to brandaces.com and definitely check out Aces on Instagram at Aces, ACES. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by the Polished Beauty Podcast with Dr. Daisy Ayim. Hey, ambitious women, ready to shine on the inside and out? Tune in to the Polished Beauty Podcast, where we talk about business, beauty, brains, and body all in one spot. Meet Dr. Daisy Ayim, triple board certified cosmetic surgeon, pro-aging advocate, fitness enthusiast, and your go-to for real talk on leveling up every part of your life. The Polished Beauty Podcast is your dose of ambition meets empowerment. For more information, head to polishedbeautypodcast.com. Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. Thanks for joining us on A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams, and today in the Polished Beauty segment, we're joined by contributor Dr. Daisy Ayim. She's a triple board certified OBGYN gynecologist and cosmetic surgeon. She brings a wealth of knowledge from her Polished Beauty podcast, where she blends health, beauty, and empowerment to inspire women to thrive. Live right here at iHeart headquarters, the voice of New York. Today, we're going to be covering top trends in women's health, cosmetic surgery, and empowerment, with a focus on what's resonating most with women today. Interestingly enough, a currently trending and somewhat controversial procedure making waves in 2024 is post-Ozempic plastic surgery, which has been highly publicized, especially among celebrities. This particular trend emerged as many high-profile individuals and regular patients started using Ozempic and other GLP-1 medications for rapid weight loss. You guys remember seeing this all over the tabloids. The dramatic weight loss caused by these medications often leads to excess skin and volume loss in areas like the face and body, prompting this increased demand for procedures like facial rejuvenation and body contouring to tighten that skin and restore lost volume. But here's where it gets interesting. Many celebrities who have shared their experiences with extreme weight loss are now turning to treatments like Emsculpt Neo for muscle toning, or surgical options like radiofrequency-assisted liposuction. And this combination addresses both fat removal and skin tightening, making it a highly sought-after solution for individuals facing the aesthetic challenges of rapid weight loss. But don't take my word for it or the research. Dr. Daisy Ayim is here to pipe in on what is trending. So we're going to kick off a question. Dr. Daisy Ayim, welcome to the show, superstar.
Hi, Zen. I'm happy to be here. Hello, everyone.
Oh, my goodness. It's so fabulous to have you at iHeart headquarters. I know that you made your way all the way here to talk to us about some of the more important topics that women are faced with today. And one of the most talked about celebrity trends this year, we just covered this in the intro, is post-Ozempic plastic surgery. I would like to know what your take on this trend is, and how do you guide your patients who want to balance health benefits with the physical changes that come from such medications? What do you advise them?
Well, Ozempic craze came and just took over the nation like a storm. Trends are not for everyone. Just because it's trendy and just because celebrities are doing it and everyone is on top of it does not mean it's for you. I would like for everyone to kind of stop when they see a trend and ask themselves, okay, I want to be part of this trend, but how do I do it wisely? How do I do it healthy? Let me ask more questions. Let me talk to my physician or my surgeon to find out. So now that you have all these post-Ozempic bodies that have caused muscle wasting, cachectic looking, excessive skin, you're stuck with this appearance and you need something to kind of reverse it or to help you get back to where you were. I would have advised any patient, as a disclaimer, by the way, I don't offer Ozempic in my office or any of those trendy stuff, because I'm very big on pursuing things in a healthy, natural way. Then once you have the lifestyle in place, then we do cosmetic procedures or surgery. So if you're one of those people that have this post-Ozempic results and you need solution, we have to look at your muscle. How do we stimulate the muscle to get it toned? And the excessive skin needs to be taken off. So you have to look at surgical revision or radio frequency to help tighten, contract the skin so you can kind of look like you were before. So all of that is available to you. However, like I said, trends are not for everyone.
It's a double-edged sword. You take it, you lose all kinds of weight. Now you have to spend all kinds of money to fix yourself up again. Got to really evaluate the facts. So kudos to you for not offering it, and it's not within the scope of your field. Now, interestingly enough, in 2023, almost 10 million minimally invasive procedures were performed in the U.S. That means a lot of people are looking for little tweaks that make them feel great. With the rise in minimally invasive cosmetic procedures, how do you see these treatments impacting women's self-esteem and confidence, especially in professional environments?
Oh, I think it's huge. It's huge not because women are not confident. Women are very confident and comfortable with what they are and what they're doing. It's just a nice tweak to look and feel better, right? Wrinkles are going to happen. Pigmentation is going to happen as we age. So these non-surgical procedures are available to kind of restore that. So it's not taking away from your natural self or looking authentic self. It's just enhancing the journey. And that makes anyone feel great.
Now, let's chat mental wellness meets aesthetics. Okay, so your podcast emphasizes the connection between mental health and beauty. How does improving physical appearance through cosmetic surgery influence mental well-being for your patients? And we're talking about truly influencing their mental well-being, not just making them feel pretty in front of the mirror.
I think it's one of those things where cosmetic surgery sometimes can be perceived as, you should not get this done. You should do it a natural way. I feel that if you're pursuing things the natural way, sometimes cosmetic surgery is part of that journey. Obviously start with just regular diet, eating well, exercising. And yes, there are sometimes you may not get the results and you may need an extra assistance in the process. So that's where cosmetic surgery comes in and just help along. If you have a mental illness or mental case, that should not be negated from just getting cosmetic surgery. You may actually need assistance in that department separate from cosmetic surgery. So it's one of those things that during consultation, as a responsible surgeon, you look at the patient and make sure that it's not something where it's only surgery. She may need more than that, or he may need more than that.
Yeah, and the term mommy makeover has spiked in Google searches by 35% over the past year. And it seems more moms are looking to take care of themselves post-baby, balancing the joys of motherhood with feeling their best. And I truly believe that postpartum is not a joke. And a lot of these cosmetic procedures, whether minimally invasive or even, more invasive, like on the heavier side, if they're helping a woman get back on her feet, feel good about herself, and helping her in her self-perception, I say go for it.
Yeah, I agree. Mommy makeover is a very personal, endearing term. It can be very variable. What does mommy makeover mean? I mean, for a woman, it could be addressing her breast postpartum after breastfeeding, having multiple kids. The breast is sagged and it's droopy, and that can happen. It could also be addressing the abdomen because postpartum, after you've had multiple kids, you may have excessive skin that just doesn't retract back. And then also the feminine area, the labia area, multiple vaginal birth can cause that area to change. So mommy makeover is a very personal thing. Are we talking about face, breast, body, or female genital areas?
You do it all.
I do it all.
You do vaginoplasties as well?
Absolutely.
Wow.
I do it all, yes. And it's very customizable. So it's a general term, but when it comes down to that woman, we have to get specific to what her needs are, what her concern is, and then we kind of craft up a plan from there.
That's great. You are so multifaceted. Now let's shift to menopause. So menopause affects roughly 1.5 million women in the U.S. each year. But what's even more surprising is that over 95% of women feel it's still not talked about enough. So especially in the workplace. So we need more open conversations. With menopause hitting headlines, what are your top recommendations for women approaching this stage in their life, particularly when it comes to balancing hormone therapy with holistic approaches?
Oh, my top 3 for women is number 1, acceptance.
Amen.
Right? Then number 2, do something if you have a symptom, right? I don't want you to feel like you're stuck and you're alone, because no, there are millions of women going through this, talking to your female friends, talking to your doctor, go online, looking for resources. There are resources out there that can guide you and assist you if you need it, okay? So do something. And then the third one, have fun. This part of your life should not be something where you feel like you're shrivel away and washed off and you're out of the picture. No, you probably have another 40 years of your life. Have fun with it. Even if you're going through and having symptoms, somehow still find the moment to enjoy it, because this is part of living.
And women who prioritize self-care, including beauty routines, report higher levels of productivity and confidence in the workplace. So to your point, who says looking and feeling great can't boost your boardroom performance? And I didn't say bedroom performance. I said boardroom performance.
Yes, you did.
Now, empowering women in business is critical. I know that you and I share a very similar ethos with our ecosystem of women. But your podcast blends business and beauty so seamlessly. What advice would you give to women juggling high-powered careers, all while maintaining that personal health and beauty routine?
Yes. My number 1 advice to any woman is always put yourself first. One of the things that I've seen as a gynecologist in women's health space for over 20 years is that women, especially when they're very busy, sometimes don't put themselves first, because you're needed in so many different spaces and you're committed in those spaces because you like to do well and excel in the craft that you're assigned. However, don't forget yourself along the way. If it's motherhood, you're raising your children, do not lose yourself in that journey. If you're a career woman and you're excelling the corporate ladder, or you're a businesswoman, do not lose yourself in that journey. So that's my number 1 advice, is to always put yourself first. And that's going to look different for every woman. That woman first means that I take time to go to the gym frequently, or first may mean that I take time to just go away on a vacation. Or first, maybe I take time to just cook because I love to cook and I will cook for myself and the family. Whatever that first looks like for you, really protect it, because that's what you have the most.
That's great advice. Let's shift to the next topic, facial rejuvenation. So last year, 2023, Botox and dermal fillers saw a 25% jump. Now, these small but impactful treatments can make a huge difference, as we said, and the best part, you can get them done over lunch. So facial rejuvenation for professionals. So many women seek facial rejuvenation to remain competitive in high stakes careers, right? What are some trending procedures you recommend for that woman who wants subtle but impactful changes, because they're always in the public eye? They're either keynote speakers, authors, in front of the camera. What do you say to them?
I say less is more. So some of the things I consider less is more is like a chemical peel. Nothing harsh. You can do a chemical peel that's very superficial, and you can get some great results with it, with pigmentation and wrinkles if it does bother you. You can also look into microneedling, like radiofrequency based. That's also a nice way to improve texture, complexion, and just overall skin tightening with it. And then, fillers are something that I say, if you use it, be very mindful of it so that it's not very noticeable or overdone.
And I'm going to add one more, something that you and I are both huge fans of, CO2 Lift.
Of
that
course.
Incredible gel mask, right? I mean,
Yes.
for non-invasive, utilizing carbon dioxide therapy for facial rejuvenation. I mean, talk to me about that. What's your take on CO2?
I love CO2. I mean, what I love about it is that it's a very simple way to improve your overall expression and I don't want to say complexion, but just how your skin glow. And there's no altering of anything. So you're using it to attract blood vessels and glowing oxygenation to your face, and it can be incorporated seamlessly in any facial routine that you do.
So now we're going to move on to pelvic floor dysfunction. Pelvic floor dysfunction affects up to 50% of women at some point in their lives, yet many feel just too embarrassed to bring it up. But talking about it is the first step to better health. So let's try to break that silence together, right?
Mhm.
Let's talk about this awareness. So pelvic health concerns are often overshadowed. How can we bring more awareness to issues like this dysfunction, especially for women who may be hesitant to discuss it? Tell me what this dysfunction really entails.
Well, the dysfunction of pelvic health can be varied. Is it due to childbirth? Is it due to aging? Is it due to weight fluctuation? Is it due to a medical condition? So there's so many reasons why a woman will have pelvic floor dysfunction. And how do we get them to talk about it? Well, it starts with your gynecologist or any provider that works in that space for your health. And so whenever you go to those visits, ask your questions, write them down. Don't be shy about it. Ask them multiple times. And if you feel like you're not getting the response that is satisfactory, get a second opinion, get a third opinion. Also talking to your female friends. Sometimes they may be like, go to my gynecologist. I love her or I love him. He's wonderful. You can get so much information. And then boom, that's how you get a resource. So not feeling shy to talk about it is very important. And I really love that with social media and some of this online platform, it's being talked at vocally. And then the younger generation are very good about expressing what they want or what they don't like compared to women that were older.
Yeah, you make a great point. We're going to shift a little bit because I want to be mindful of the time here. I mean, you and I can talk about this all day because I'm truly passionate about women's health. But experts predict that in the next decade, we're going to see a boom in these non-invasive technologies, allowing people to really achieve even more dramatic results with less downtime, because it's all about downtime. Yes. So it sounds like the future of beauty is brighter and faster than ever, literally. But truly, as technology advances, where do you see cosmetic surgery evolving in the next 5 to 10 years, especially with the non-surgical techniques?
I see it involving even more. I see more people seeking it because you can't really tell that anything has been done. And, when I go down to the vaginal space, look at where we were 10 years ago. Devices wasn't really much of a conversation. Now it's integral into the conversation. Sometimes for the betterment of the patient, other time is misinformation. So I see it getting better, and I see the consumer being smarter and being more informed.
Thank you, Dr. Daisy. It was a pleasure chatting with you today, and it was such a treat to have you in studio.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Without a doubt, this has been the one and only Polished Beauty Podcast on A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR iHeartRadio. Stay polished, stay empowered, and tune in next week for more insightful conversations. That was the amazing Dr. Daisy Ayim. Definitely head to her website, drdaisyayim.com, and on the gram you can check her out at Dr. Daisy Ayim and learn more and keep up with the Polished Beauty Podcast. You could head to polishedbeautypodcast.com and check them out on the gram at the Polished Beauty Podcast. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this. A Moment of Zen is brought to you by the Polished Beauty Podcast with Dr. Daisy Ayim. Hey, ambitious women, ready to shine on the inside and out? Tune in to the Polished Beauty Podcast, where we talk about business, beauty, brains, and body all in one spot. Meet Dr. Daisy Ayim, triple board certified cosmetic surgeon, pro-aging advocate, fitness enthusiast, and your go-to for real talk on leveling up every part of your life. The Polished Beauty Podcast is your dose of ambition meets empowerment. For more information, head to polishedbeautypodcast.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
In business and in life, there's always an upside. Finding it is often the challenge. Having a mindset that looks for it and embraces problems as opportunities is the key to thriving. Finding the Upside with Maria de Lorenzo Reyes explores the transformative power of optimism, featuring visionary business owners, influential leaders, and inspiring everyday people. Tune in and see how they navigate changing conditions with optimism and innovation. Watch the special series One Tough Chick, highlighting resilient and powerful women, streaming on yourhometv.com.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in the Phoenix Rising segment, highlighting transformational journeys brought to you by Chicago's Chicken Shack nonprofit, providing food to the homeless. We're joined by regular contributor Anna DeVere, and today she's joined by the incredible Lisa Kinzelberg, a fine artist based in Chicago. Her work is at Virgil Catherine Gallery and is part of private collections across the US. Her latest series, Cities of the World, pays homage to the incredible cities that hold special meaning to her. Her work will be exhibited by D. Colabella Fine Art Gallery at Scope Art Fair during Art Basel Week in Miami this upcoming December 3rd to the 8th, with a mission to show people the world and reveal something deeper about ourselves. They're going to join me today to chat all about her mission as an artist, her upcoming gallery at Art Basel, and how she takes her viewers on a transformational journey through her art. Welcoming now to the show is the amazing Lisa Kinzelberg and Anna DeVere. Welcome, superstars.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So excited to have you on. Lisa, I'm going to dive right in. So let's start with your mission statement. I am an artist that takes my viewers on a transformational journey to see our world as one humanity and experience the awe of human beings. Can you tell us how this became your core mission as an artist?
Thank you for asking. For me, it's really my philosophy of what great art is, and that is my mission to produce great art. So when I say transformational, I really believe great art should be something that you can't unsee. So it kind of gets under your skin and changes something about you. Also, I believe that great art should take you out of your day to day and help you see the world a little bit differently. And it might be the artist world, it might be something the artist is trying to portray. So I studied philosophy in college. My thesis was Martin Heidegger's view of art. And he talked about Van Gogh's shoes. It's a pair of peasant shoes. And you can see how destructive all that labor was on the shoes. And you get a glimpse into that person's world. And you take that back and think about your own world. So it has to be profound in that way. And when I say the awe of human being, I think that great art makes you feel awe, and like literally you feel something wash over you, and almost like an insight about who we are as people. The first time I ever experienced that as an artist was actually in high school. My art teacher had me submit work into a statewide art program, and they portrayed on a huge screen in a big auditorium a portrait of one of my classmates. And I remember doing that portrait and just kind of letting it flow, kind of accessing my subconscious, if you will. I kind of turned my brain off and just did it. And as an artist, when you do that, it transmits into your work. And when they put that on the screen, I'll never forget, I heard the audience gasp. And I was 18 years old, and I just kind of like hid and slid down my seat. And I said, I can't believe, something I created in the world gave that reaction. And I knew then this is something I need to continue to do.
That's beautiful. Now, I love
Mhm.
clearly you understand the power and significance of art just even through that story, and you channel that into your pieces. And art is so important not only for your own self-expression, right? But as you said, for the purpose of unifying its viewers. And when you look at the statistics, 72% of Americans in fact believe the arts unify our communities regardless of age, race, and ethnicity, and 73% believe the arts help understand other cultures better. So I love that what you're doing, and more importantly, you're doing it with intention. And intention matters because that's where the passion comes from. Now, I know Anna has some questions, so I'll hand it off to you.
Yeah, I love this conversation, ladies. And thank you, Zen, for bringing that in about intention. And I know you intend to go to Art Basel. How exciting, right? As it should be. But tell us a little bit about Cities of the World. What is your philosophy behind your showing there?
Thank you. Yes, my new series, Cities of the World, really celebrates places we live, work, travel to. We're living in such like a rich, advanced, interconnected world. Sometimes things can feel very much the same with technology, no matter where you live or work. In these pieces that I do, each painting is of a particular city. I really try to capture more of the history and the character, because each city kind of has a life of its own. So, and the awe of human being comes in when you realize that, isn't it amazing the metropolises we've formed over the years and how the places that we live, work, kind of take on a life of their own. It has a special meaning to you, whether you've been there or want to go there. And I think that's really incredible. The concept, the idea of places we inhabit have that almost beingness, that otherness. And that's what I try to capture and paint.
Without a doubt, I can so relate to what you just said. And I love how in this series, you've essentially given maps a makeover, and that the way that you view different parts of the world and their different energies is really evident through the way that you depict these cities. But now going back, you described the feeling of awe, and you said
Mhm.
that many times as a third voice that helps you understand perspective. Could you elaborate more on that?
Yes, I think, travel is almost like an immersive art experience in and of itself. When you go somewhere and you experience, you meet different people, you ask about what their day is like, you kind of see how people live and work. You take that home with you and you reevaluate, your own life, and you just have insights. You kind of question, how you live and who you are. So there's that awe that comes into play. I kind of think of it like a narrator of a play that has a little bit more information than the characters in the play. So you kind of get a little bit more information about other people in the world, and you can take that back and think about yourself more deeply.
Wow, and I have a little bit more information about you, Lisa, but I want to share this as a Phoenix Rising story because I know your journey. Would you just share the turning point for you? Because you went from businesswoman to parent to celebrated artist. What was that catalyst?
Thank you. I mean, I actually remember the moment I was a stay-at-home mom full time, and I was doing the dishes thinking, I am just not happy. I didn't really have anything to look forward to. I wasn't feeling challenged. There's nothing wrong with what I was doing. I enjoyed it for so long, but I was really feeling my relationships were suffering within my family. I think, you can just tell when something's just not igniting you inside. I was always creative and artistic in my life, and I had secondary outlets, decorating my home or cooking. I try to find other ways, but I knew I really needed to get back to kind of what made me tick and really what my purpose was in the world, all the way back to in high school when people were affected by my art. I knew that was kind of the what I could do best in the world. And I kind of told my husband, I'm getting a studio. I kind of don't care what you think or feel. I have to do this. And I just did it. I went on the road, found a space within like maybe a few weeks. And that's been a complete game changer because I don't have any distractions. I can focus on my practice. In a very diverse, cool area that's inspiring to me in downtown Chicago. I'm meeting interesting people. I'm there 5 to 6 days a week. I bring collectors and, hotel design firms coming. Different people are able to see my work. So it's enabled me to level up my career in so many ways.
That's a great journey. And I'm sure lots of people, and when I
Mhm,
say people, I mean lots of women feel that it's not
mhm,
easy to reinvent when you're a mother or of a certain age, but you've broken
mhm.
down that stereotype completely. So congratulations. Now I'd love to know, what advice would you give to those who are feeling empty, trapped, and maybe even that the wheels are coming off of their life?
First of all, I think age is an advantage because you have more skills and resources, you have more confidence to make things happen. It's funny you ask that because a lot of people in my community ask or tell me, it's so easy for you. You have a talent. I wish I had a talent. But really, at the end of the day, I think it goes back to, again, that story of affecting others. I think if people think about where you've helped others, you've made an impact. I think we all have an ability to do that in some way, just being who you are. Um, I think that's where you start. My mom, for example, she's like my hero. She was a stay-home mom, and then she ended up going into technology sales. She hates technology. She knows nothing about it. She would throw a computer at the wall if she could. And she's really not a salesy type person, but she is a nurturer. That's her fundamental gift to the world. And she built this rock star team that was able to, hit these amazing financial targets, and she's helped so many people in their careers because she's a nurturer. That is her gift. And then I also think about my nephew. I mean, he's younger in his life, he's in college now. He found a field that really resonated with him, which is biomedical engineering. He wants to help people who, need prosthetics or have some other medical issue. So he's studying engineering. So he found a field where he can help others. So I think when you start with where you can make a difference, it all falls into place.
That's beautiful.
Hmm. So I know we're out of time, but if you had any final words, what would they be?
I think it's really important to put your own oxygen mask on first. I know this is a mental health focus. I really try to make fun in my life. I have super close friends, try to work, move my body every day. And that helps you become a better, friend, contributor to the world. So I think, mental, physical health is kind of the foundation of it all.
Wow. Well, we are officially out of time, but you are so transparent and inspiring. I can't thank you enough for coming on. And it went from an art session to a therapy session. I love it.
Great advice. Thank
Art and
you,
therapy go
Lisa.
together. Thank you for having me.
That was the incredible Lisa Kinzelberg, fine artist based in Chicago. Definitely head to her website at lisakinzelbergart.com and check her out on the gram at Lisa Kinzelberg to stay up to date with her latest collections like Cities of the World. And you don't want to miss her artwork at Art Basel Week in Miami this upcoming December through the 8th. And of course, check out Anna on the gram at Anna_DeVere. That was our Phoenix Rising segment highlighting transformational journeys brought to you by Chicago's Chicken Shack nonprofit, providing food to the homeless, and you can learn more at chicagoschickenShack.com. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by CO2 Lift. As we age, our skin loses moisture and elasticity, causing wrinkled skin. You can reverse this aging process with CO2 Lift. CO2 Lift utilizes the powerful benefits of carbon dioxide to lift, tighten, and regenerate your skin. This simple, painless at-home carboxytherapy treatment is scientifically proven to reverse the aging process. You will see reduction in wrinkles, increase in luminosity, and improve pigmentation, sagging, skin tone, and radiance.
For more information or to order CO2 Lift, ask your skincare professional or go to co2lift.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut in the Expert on the Microphone series, we have two incredibly inspiring guests who are here to shed light on a condition many of us may have never heard of, but is considered one of the most painful medical conditions, trigeminal neuralgia, otherwise referred to as the suicide disease. First, joining us is the incredible Dr. Mark Linskey. He's a renowned neurosurgeon and advocate for facial pain disorders. He has dedicated his career to helping those suffering from conditions like TN and has performed life-changing surgeries to alleviate the suffering of his patients. We're honored to have his expertise today as we explore this condition and the complexities surrounding it. We're also joined by Kathleen Klein. She's an advocate for trigeminal neuralgia and founder of FaceForward, an organization dedicated to raising awareness for TN and other facial pain disorders. Kathleen's story is nothing short of inspiring. She's lived with this excruciating condition for over 11 years and has turned her personal battle into a mission to advocate for others who face the same silent, deadly struggle. Today, we'll be hearing about her expertise and her experience and the work that she's doing to bring awareness to this silent crisis. Now, for those unfamiliar with trigeminal neuralgia, or TN, let me give you some basic background. It's a rare chronic pain condition that affects the trigeminal nerve, one of the largest cranial nerves, which provides sensation to the face. In this condition is marked by sudden, severe facial pain that's often compared to electric shocks or the feeling of a hot iron pressed against the skin. And according to researchers, it's estimated that around 150,000 people are diagnosed with TN each year in the US, but many go undiagnosed for years. And what makes this disease so brutal is that it can strike at any time, turning the simplest actions like chewing, talking, or even smiling into unbearable agony. And like I said, it's often referred to as the suicide disease because of the mental and physical toll it takes on sufferers. With that understanding, let's dive deeper into what living with TN is like and what the medical community is doing to help. Welcoming now to the show is the incredible Dr. Mark Linskey and TN advocate Kathleen Klein. Welcome, superstars.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great to be here.
Thank you so much. Dr. Linskey, it's hard to fathom the kind of pain described by TN sufferers like Kathleen. The fact that a misfire of the trigeminal nerve can cause such agony is staggering. So can you explain to our listeners what exactly causes trigeminal neuralgia? Why is it that this nerve pain in particular can cause such intense pain?
Well, absolutely. In less than 5% of cases, trigeminal neuralgia can be caused by something pathologic that you would see on a magnetic resonance image, such as multiple sclerosis or a tumor or a cyst or an abnormal blood vessel or collection of blood vessels. But in 95% of the time, it is caused by one or more normal blood vessels coming in contact with the nerve root in the crawl space between the brainstem and the skull and causing compression, erosion of the insulation of the nerve, and triggering of the pain fibers. The reason it's so severe and so difficult in the face is that the trigeminal nerve, which provides sensation to the face on each side, is the largest sensory nerve in the human body, and it's exquisitely sensitive to facial pain disorders.
Wow, that sounds very complex, especially to diagnose and more importantly to address. Kathleen, you've described trigeminal neuralgia as being akin to lightning strikes to the face, and I can't imagine how living with this daily impacts your life. What's more remarkable is that despite this, you have managed to become a powerful advocate for others. You've built FaceForward to help raise awareness and support, turning your personal pain into a public mission. What inspired you to start FaceForward, and how has the support that you've received from the community shaped your vision?
To be honest, when I was first diagnosed with trigeminal neuralgia, I faced some very dark and scary times. I was newly remarried. I was a mom of 4 young children. I was 18 years into a career that I absolutely loved. And now I was struck with this new condition, and it was life-changing. And I really lost myself in that. And I just kept wanting to go back. And I spent a lot of years alone in that. Then I realized through my faith, mostly, that I needed to stop looking back and face forward. I needed to find purpose. And I still had that passion of helping others burning inside of me. So I learned to pivot, and that's how FaceForward was born. Because, living in today's world, whether you're dealing with chronic pain, mental health issues, loss, there's a myriad of challenges we face every day. There are so many people that suffer alone in silence.
You're right. Now, Dr. Linskey, in your experience, how do TN patients often cope with exactly what Kathleen was just referring to, the psychological burden of this disease? And what role does the medical community play in supporting them beyond just treating the physical symptoms?
Well, that's a great question. This syndrome has a devastating effect on patients' psychological and emotional well-being, as well as that of their spouses and their family. It's not just the patient. It's their whole support and family unit. Unfortunately, it's a progressive syndrome. While medication can temporarily mitigate the problem in terms of pain and suffering, almost all patients eventually need surgery to deal with the syndrome.
Wow. It's the more I hear of it, the more I have so much respect for you, Kathleen, for dealing with this. Now, Kathleen, you've spoken about the immense financial and emotional burdens that TN sufferers face, and it's something that many chronic patients endure. You've been through two brain surgeries yourself and countless procedures and an overwhelming number of treatments. So, given the challenges you have faced in seeking relief, can you talk about your experiences with surgery and treatment and how you've balanced the mental and emotional hurdles with this condition?
Yes. So, luckily, I was diagnosed quickly, and I say that because it does take sometimes people years to get diagnosed. And I had gone through many medications, different treatments. I had my first brain surgery. It did not work. It brought on more pain, more chronic migraines. I did a lot of research. I found Dr. Linskey. I quickly realized that he was my doctor and I would not want to put my brain in anyone else's hands. So I had gotten a second brain surgery with him, but my case was a little more complicated. I had other neurologists as well. So he did a redo, and it was very extensive. It was a very complicated case. So he did help take away that electrocution type pain, but I still have the constant pain where you feel that you have, I liken it to like an iron on your face, you feel. So my pain level is around a 5 every day, and it will just vary depending on the weather, if I'm talking too much, if I'm not sleeping, the food I'm eating. Um, so
It
it can
sounds it
really,
sounds like it's hard to really manage, and I wanna ask Dr. Linsky this. TN, to my research, doesn't just come with its intense pain. It's also one of the most difficult conditions to treat, and especially after hearing both of you speak right now. So current treatments, including surgeries like microvascular decompression, are not always permanent solutions, and many patients, like Kathleen, still suffer, to her point, despite these multiple interventions. And historically, there have been many limitations in current treatments for TN, but there are emerging therapies that offer hope. So, what advancements in your medical research or emerging treatments offer the most promise for patients with TN, and how do they differ from the traditional surgical approaches?
Well, initial therapy for this condition is usually medical in terms of therapy, medications, anticonvulsant medications, anti-seizure medications, and there are new ones coming along all the time. The problem is that they only temporize, and this is a progressive syndrome. The most effective treatment by and large, I mean, without question, is addressing the cause of the syndrome, the vascular compression on the nerve, and that's the microvascular decompression, the MVD that you just described. And it is potentially curative, not just a long-term solution, but potentially a forever solution. In proper surgical hands, the recurrence rate is only 10% at 10 to 20 years. But there are other procedures that can be done, but they're generally palliative. That means that they address the symptom, not the cause of the problem. And as a result, they tend to have a high recurrence rate in a progressive syndrome. And all of these procedures share one thing in common: selectively partially damaging the nerve on purpose, with the goal of treating a relief of pain for a chance of causing numbness and nerve damage. And that numbness and nerve damage can lead to what Kathleen's describing, atypical neuralgic pain, which is constant, as opposed to the intermittent sharp stabbing shocks, which are the characteristic syndrome of trigeminal neuralgia. There are also other procedures that implant electrodes to try and stimulate the peripheral branches or the motor cortex or the deep brain to try and fool the brain into thinking you're not in pain. But those also are not permanent solutions. By far and away, the best solution is a well-done MVD done by a surgeon very experienced and skilled in it as the first intervention. That gives your best chance of not having atypical neuralgic pain and having a permanent solution going forward.
Sounds like if you do it wrong from the onset, you've opened up Pandora's box and then it's hard to reseal that. So,
exactly.
the first intervention is key. And unfortunately, to my understanding, he was your second beacon of hope, right?
Yes. Yes.
Well, you're in good hands now. Now you have become a beacon of hope for many people facing similar conditions, despite your ongoing struggle. And we know that this past October 7th was International Trigeminal Neuralgia Awareness Day, and your efforts to bring awareness have been tremendous, Kathleen. I commend you. What do you hope to accomplish on a larger scale as an advocate for TN sufferers?
I guess I want the world to know more about trigeminal neuralgia because it is so very rare. And a- as with any other invisible illness, you look like you are okay. And people often say, "Well, you look good," but they don't realize the pain, the excruciating pain that you can feel. And unless you do feel it or you witness someone who has felt it, you don't believe that a pain can truly exist and not kill you. So most days are filled with uncertainty because you don't know what's going to happen from day to day, from hour to hour. And the pain is unpredictable. So you may be able to do something, at one time, but you'll suffer for days after. Or if you're able to do that one thing, you may not be able to do it again. So I really want to encourage people to be patient and compassionate, show kindness to us because we really are trying our best with something that is very rare and is very scary to us.
Yeah. Sounds like you're dealing with a roller coaster of emotions, symptoms, and even consequences. Um, Kathleen, you're doing a great job at managing it all. Dr. Linskey, given the fact that TN can be misdiagnosed for years, and as you mentioned earlier, finding the right treatment early on is critical, what are some of the early signs of TN that patients and primary care physicians, more importantly, might overlook? And how can we improve the diagnostic process to reduce the number of misdiagnosed or undiagnosed cases?
The trigeminal nerve has three divisions: Division 1, Division 2, and Division 3. Trigeminal neuralgia affects Division 2 and 3 first, rarely Division 1. And your teeth, upper jaw and lower jaw, are innervated by Division 2 and 3. And in fact, the vast majority of trigeminal neuralgia patients, when they have the problem, think they have a problem with their teeth, and they go to dentists first. In fact, 50% of trigeminal neuralgia patients have unnecessary dental procedures, including root canals and dental extractions, trying to get rid of the pain because the primary care doctor thinks it's a dental issue, the dentist thinks it's a dental issue, but it's not. That's the biggest mistaken issue out there in terms of getting people to correct diagnosis. It's such an orphan disease affecting only 6.5 patients per 100,000 per year that most primary care physicians, most dentists, even most neurologists have never seen a case. And so getting it diagnosed properly and getting it treated properly with the right anticonvulsant medication, at least initially, takes a long time. And the patients are horribly suffering until that diagnosis is finally made. And then the delay to get to a neurosurgeon. The average board certified neurosurgeon sees only 1 to 2 of these patients every 3 years.
Wow.
That is not going to lead to expertise. It's not going to lead to correct diagnosis. It's not even going to lead to a significant experience with the surgeries for this condition. That means that even the neurosurgeons who have a lot of experience with this are very few in number. We're maybe 6 to 12 in the whole U.S. And trying to get to those neurosurgeons in modern healthcare situations where your panel of providers is strictly limited is extremely hard.
Wow. This is the work you do, doctor, is very, very calculated. And I love that you've come on to shed light on this particular topic. I had no idea how complicated this was, how painful this was, uh, the extent of the damage physically and emotionally and mentally. And Kathleen, I mean, your personal experience in advocacy work, have shown just how isolating and devastating TN can be. However, through FaceForward, you've helped build a community of support, and that should be so rewarding for you. So what advice would you give to others who are going through this? Not how the community should be treating them, but the ones who are actually going through this and feel like they're alone in their pain. How can FaceForward help them find support and hope?
So to go off of what Dr. Linskey had said, you really need to do your research and be your own advocate. And that is why I went all the way to California from New York to see him, because he is an expert. But just as someone who's suffering, you need to learn to give yourself grace, and because the fear and failure and despair and guilt can really take grip of you. And it took me a long time to realize this, that we don't need to sit in silence alone with this. And for me, FaceForward is more of a movement. It's trying to promote a message of hope and resilience and positivity. It's a platform where, whether you're dealing with chronic pain or mental health issues, you can wear your story and not suffer alone in silence. And I think the biggest thing is embracing your journey, trying to spread positivity, because the world desperately needs that. And it's more of a platform where we can connect with others. And we might be facing different challenges, but the bottom line is we're better together. And if we're together, we can get through anything, no matter what we're facing. So
I love that. And with that, we are officially out of time. I want to thank you both as we wrap up today's segment. Thank you both, Dr. Linskey and Kathleen, for sharing your time, your expertise, and your powerful story with us today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you very much.
That was the good doctor, Dr. Mark Linskey, and that was the incredible Kathleen Klein, trigeminal neuralgia advocate and founder of FaceForward, an organization dedicated to raising awareness for TN and other facial pain disorders. You could head to alwaysfaceforward.com and check her out on the gram at alwaysfacefwd. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
The Kelly Williams Show is brought to you by Serendipity Yacht Cruises and Events. Tune in and turn on your happy. Kelly Williams is full of energy and incredible guests. Watch her anytime, free programming on Your Home TV network, and do follow her on social media for a chance to win monthly prizes. Check out The Kelly Williams Show on yourhometv.com.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Well, that's a wrap, my dear friends. Remember to join me right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, every Saturday night from 9 to 10 p.m. Or you could head to 710WOR.iHeart.com/A Moment of Zen. Also remember that we're live on Traverse TV Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern, YouTube Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern, directly on our channel. And all episodes of A Moment of Zen are available on Your Home TV and Kathy Ireland worldwide. That's free programming to you. Definitely head to our channel, mox.yourhometv.com. Thank you so much for listening to A Moment of Zen tonight. We'll be back next week. And remember that happiness is the only thing that multiplies when you share it. Have a great night.